Okay, guys, good morning. How's everybody doing? We're going to get started right now. Showtime. Um, all right. So, without further ado, first up, we have Mr. John Ward from Ireland. I had the distinct honor and pleasure of meeting him and training with him, and getting kicked in the face by his son. uh, right in the kisser. Um, at an international competition back in 2010. Um, and I got to tell you, we were talking yesterday, and this is the beauty of what we're doing is we had mentioned that it's great that you can go on YouTube and look all this stuff up, but what's missing is the dialogue, and to be able to reconnect or connect with people like this for the first time or even doing it again is really a beautiful thing, especially with this pandemic looming over us. So, and not knowing what the future is going to hold come this fall, September, October. So, with that being said, sir, I'm going to turn the program over to you. It is going to be all yours. And I want to thank you all so much for coming onto the program. And at this point in time, if we could ask everybody to please mute your microphones and put your questions in the chat section. Sir, they're all yours. Welcome aboard. Let's give them a hand, everybody.
Yeah, good.
Dave, go.
Yep, you're all set, John. You're good to go.
All good to go. Okay, people.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just had my microphone muted, so you guys didn't hear the loons.
Okay. First of all, thanks for having me. Anything to do with this and sharing tempo is a bonus for everybody. You know what I mean? We may not have the physical contact, but then we don't have the egos to deal with either. We're here to help each other, to share each other. We all have this small piece of a huge jigsaw. And it's only when we get together, we can actually work together and see what we all have collectively. And that's what tempo is. Everybody's different ideas and abilities. Okay, today I'm being helped by Mr. Dwayne Williams and Professor Anthony Bradshaw. That's their problem, okay? There will be pain involved, like the kiss of the dragon at the end of a test. Yes, there will be pain involved. But those of you who have seen me do this before, you realize on a scale of 1 to 10, I walk at 1. Because for me to go any harder can cause injury, number 1, and be disrespectful to the rookie, number 2. Okay, that's not what it's about. They're here willingly given their time and their bodies to be demonstrated on. Why should I? If I can get a reaction of a flinch, you know that the point is won. I will not knock people out just to satisfy somebody else's questions. Okay. We did something a couple of weeks ago. We're going to touch on the basics of that, but we're going to add in more of our blue, green, brown techniques just to show you possibilities. The techniques are tempo techniques. The motion is universal. I'm not putting it into tempo, I'm identifying from my knowledge what's there. Okay, so Mr. Williams, who recently became a 4th-degree bachelor of the great job, well done. Okay, in our fourth technique, against sponge attacking links. Okay, we're all told that when we go above the arm, above the elbow, on the outside, that's what we got. We're also told when we go below the arm, here, on the inside of the body. Because when you go above here, I'm going to get a slap. If I go below here, I'm going to get an elbow. Perfectly plausible. Or from pressure point or crucial perspective, it might be whatever you want to call it. Here on the wrist of the pericardium, really notice that's a right shot. That's a center. Above the arm, just here, along the triple warmer, that's another right. That's the switch, that's the right. I hit the switches, the third switches here go, and then I tap it around the okay, so we're going to just deal with a couple of movements that I have down to four. So base technique is when I block here, punch here, kick, and hit. Okay. So you see everything there is good and linear. No problem. With striking pressure points, we strike at 45. Okay. We're so used to creating an angle distance that I can't over moving around and hit at 90 degrees. This is the hard part for me. So instead of When I hit this, as you can see, I'm on this way to the triple warm. That's an activation point. Okay. Now, with this time, instead of giving a direct punch, this hand is going to hit up. This is just going to deflect. And this is going to hit up to the triple warm. Again, just coming up at this angle. The next strike will go down at this angle. So there we have an open-ended triangle against the body. So we have a 1, 2. That's the reflex you want. All his weight goes on that leg. Okay, that hand is over there. That should be it. The choice of other ones. But just to show you the initial flinch, so we have it from here. Now, at this point, you have this little step drag. And that's the reaction you get. This can still check. You can take various points down below. But that's something to try that out yourself. I know the hands too are doing this recently. Wellington, have your crew hands already try something. Okay, just try it once or twice on each other. Just to feel the effect. Don't get it. And it's not excellent. That's it. Okay. Just to capitalize on that, what we're doing is when we carry hitting up to the triple warmer, we're going down to gallbladder 27. Okay, gallbladder point makes the body implode. Okay, so when we get this implosion, we're going to just do this inward ridge hand to point here, gallbladder 20. Okay, mastoid, whatever medical term you want to put on it. But what we get is, and that's the takeout. There's nobody going to come back from that. Okay, that's just, okay, that's the yellow belt taken care of. These are applicable to all techniques. You know what I mean? Like, Mr. Bradshaw comes in and I want to do the laid sword here. I can bring this down here. Without the step, I can come. That's the reaction. Just by altering the targets. It's the same sequence. I'm not changing anything. Okay? Let's move on to crossing tower. Just before I'm trying to explain what we do, we have pressure points. If I walk over and do this, that's just a point of pressure. Pressure points are designed for exact points on a meridian. Okay? So when the body moves, the muscle line changes. So you have to change your angle of attack or your setup to get to that point. Like when this was being researched back in the Bronze Age, the bronze man was there, all the marks on him. But these were prisoners of war, acupuncture. And they found out points that did this, that, and the other. But then the body stood up and it didn't work. So it's like tempo, have to have your backup. If we look at the crossing tower, okay, and we come, okay, right initial move, but CCTV camera sees this. This is a strike. They probably see that same shaking hands and you saying, I don't, you know. So what we want to do is we want to move the body so that when I come this, a groove appears between the two muscles on the forearm here. And these fingers are just going to be like an ice cream scoop. Okay? When I do this technique, I come and I use the elbow to force down. Okay? But I'm going to make full use of that elbow by using this. Now the elbow comes in. Okay? So if we move over here, so I just and then I do the let's try that and see how we get an effect. Scoop down at this angle. So when I step in, scoop it down with the fingers and the wrist. Let's try it. Okay. When we do this, this is not going to move. We have this downward. Back onto gallbladder 27. You're going to see a lot of this. The reason I'm working on these is they're easiest points to reach those people from. So if I stand here and this is a walking right tempo, we have our backward. We can just use a reversing race or whatever. Okay, just something that everybody does in tempo from start to finish. We went through this the last night, but just to show you that no motion is useless in tempo, it's just unuseful at that point in time. So if you look at our salutation, okay, if I'm looking at one, that one step forward, that one salutation from here is a knockout situation. Okay? Okay, so Mr. Williams and I having an argument, confrontation. I know no matter how hard to talk, he wants to have a go, and that's it. Okay, so the only thing I remember from my tempo classes was the salutation. You know, we're big into respect. But if you look at the motion, this leg, this hand, and this hand, 4 inches or maybe a hand's width above the ankle is a point called speed 6. Okay, we've already know that this one is gallbladder 20 from finishing off tracking mace. But the stomach meridian runs right down the jawline. So again, this is not a squeeze. Remember I said about the 45? This comes up this direction, taps that point. This picks up gallbladder 20 as a heel hand. And this can be like a raking back knuckle. So basically, that should be it. So it doesn't matter. Again, don't be hitting people. Try it. See the reaction. I guarantee you, when you tap that, that's what happens. The leg weakens. It gets a message that the leg is broke, so it won't support you. So without that base, these two make contact at the same time. That is a knockout. Try with each other, just tap around, see what reaction you get. The leg one tends to get sore, so you tell it. Okay, let's try that paper and have a look, see what you do. Basic motion you already have, which is capitalize and making use of it. Okay, let's move on. We'll get these done quick because a lot of the shots are repetitive, but it just goes to show you how versatile the tempo system we have. I learned the majority of my crucial work through my Grandmaster Aaron Say, who's now since passed on from the Black Dragon Fighting Society. He saw me teaching in Pittsburgh and told me I had the perfect delivery vehicle for the crucial system, the pressure point system, meaning American tempo. And if you look at it with the multiple strikes and the options we have combined, it's just an add-on. Next one, go through strike and servant's head. 2 versions. Okay, what did the first version? Okay, so we just take this off a second. Did this the last time, so it really wasn't the best. Okay, so we're all taught here we have the bear home, we step back, like here, whatever. But Mr. Williams was taught of me, and he's taught of Mr. Badger, so if we log in here, you know what I mean? Gonna get a creak in the neck. But now we said about the right points, just proportion. Put the head in. Now, up here, all in the skull is like any junction outside there now, or any of the major road junctions or train junctions you have. A lot of the pressure points cross each other. And it's when we cross each other, then we try to put a line out for a neutral and shorter system. But this is the weapon, this thumb in knuckle. I'm going to start here and draw it down. Okay. Now, when you do it yourself, you will realize the time for this. I can do this, not a problem. If I hold the jaw and do this, here's the reaction. Okay, here's this is a stomach, I'm across it with the other scale. So if I lodge the head in, step back, draw. That's what you're going to get. Okay, not nice. Okay, so again, try that on a scale of 1 to 10. Just hover around 1. So you're really going to bring it up to 7. It's okay, Mr. Williams. Okay, let's move it up a bit and we go to another graph, destructive twins. Okay. Now, take it in this direction. Now, this, okay, well, I'm good. I go in and I do my base technique, but this is again, apparently look at CCTV cameras and they see me doing this. Not so nice. Okay. What we're looking at again, remember we said about the angles? One angle is going to come down this direction, the other angle is going to go up and down in that direction. So, again, can't be simply doing this. But if I fold, look what happens. Okay? So I step in, fold, let me hip do the work. Now, this angle goes up and down. Base of the nose, filter. Okay? So basically, I'm going to go up and down. Again, what you're seeing is up, down. Okay? If you're looking at, remember we said about activation points, are not always necessary. But if I'm coming around here, I have actually pushed that one here and then do it. Okay? Do it once or twice until it is painful. Okay, so if you look at it, when we step in with a base technique, we're going to step into this and just turn the hip. Okay, they're all simple body mechanics. This is going to go up and down. That's it. Now, if you look at what we're doing, same motion. Okay, they're just identifying what's in there. Okay, different. Stay on the face for the time being. A lot of people like to, a lot of people hate. It's an option. Okay, so I think Mr. Williams is the tall guy, and even Mr. Bradshaw will move on him if you wanted to do it. But again, you're looking at this side attack, like look at this. What have I done? So basically, if I query and I'm hitting up here with the super warm again, that's an activation. If you go into this and leave, well, we're just going to give you another option. The other place coming in, that's the end. So the state of technique, so I'm going here. Instead of shooting, I'm not going for a ride. Okay? So there again is a triple warm here. Just going to aim. Right there, to your nose, on your cheekbones, 2 little dents. Okay, again, I want you to go up, down. Okay? Don't pull it around horizontally. Don't push it down. Right? Again, you have this diagonal. Okay? So come here, right here. And he just wants to get away from that. It is too painful. Okay, so we do it slowly, no pressure. So from here, I have an option. I can go for the eye, but if I want to, if I bring him to an eye, the hands will open up the body to play it, but he will be more incapacitated. Okay, let's try that one and see how we're doing for time. Nelson, how are we doing for time?
You have about 10 minutes, sir.
Perfect.
I'll come back on in about 5 and give you a 5-minute countdown.
Perfect.
We're doing great. You're awesome.
You're getting there. They're not getting there. We're having all the fun. That's what I mean, like, to be respectful to your rookies all the time. It's easy for me to stand there and look impressed and pound on the body. No, no, it's not respectful. Okay, we're going to work our way up to Wales technique, just to explain the principle of bodies imploding or bodies exploding. Okay, so meridians work on the outside of the body, on the inside of the body, and most of the really effective ones are on the inside of the body. So you know the body automatically protects itself. If it comes under pressure, what does the body do? It goes fetal to protect the vital points. Okay, so now we're going to attack a few of those and see the reaction. If you're looking at the fracture, we can make bodies implode. We can make bodies explode. Okay, so the energy is either going into the body to make it implode, or the energy is going to leave the body to make it explode. Okay. No, just the corner. Take it on this side. Okay, so further up in Form 6, there's a technique unfolding lance. It's unfolding ground because it's against the weapon. This time is unfolding lance. Okay, so if we're looking at it form-wise here, and we can complete it. But you don't have that much time to play around with a weapon. Okay, I know we're all the time, divert, seize, control, disarm. Disarm, inflict is my motto. Okay, then get the weapon, get the weapon, get the weapon after that. But remember what we said about the inside of the wrist, pericardium? Okay, that's a switch. We're going to attack the inside underneath. Triple warmers on this side, on the outside of the arm. On the inside of the arm, same position, you have the heart meridian. Okay, and that heart is a pump. So it pumps energy out. Okay? Like we said about the ankle point, one hand's above the ankle, you see the effect on that. So that combined with that will make explode. Okay, energy will leave the body. Watch the weapon. Okay, so basically you have 1, 2, 3. That's all it's going to be. Again, if you're looking at this side, just to show the points, we have 1, 2, 3. We use a half fist on this. It still gives me a point to your knuckle. It still gives me the spread of the weapon over the target. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. That's 1. Okay, so what we have is you break. Okay, so I'm not going to attack the ankle because Stepfatch has a carpet layer and kind of needs his legs to work. $1 million legs here. Okay, so basically from here, that's, I want to leave the body. Okay, that combined with that one, the leg goes, the hand goes, and that goes. So just try it even against. So if we grab here, and we all have this technique, but we're not going to. We have this 1, 2, 3, 3. Put strong arms. So if we bring it up, put the impulse, now you can play around. Okay. Use those same points. Just a different city. Okay. Okay, we'll move on. We can do a recap anytime you like. Give me a bell. We can talk about it. Now, twirling
Sir,
wings.
sorry to interrupt. We have about 5 minutes.
Okay, look for 2 techniques. You want to do twirling wings. Now again, Mr. Bradshaw is not going to come up and grab me. and put himself exposed. Okay? Somebody thought we've got something here. Okay, so just do the first little slowly. So again, look at this form. We all know this. But why are you hitting? You're hitting this with a warm. We're doing it all the time. Okay? The next one is another. But if you decide to put the elbow in, move the elbow down on the reverse. Okay, so hit down diagonally. There is that involvement. Remember the point of the ankle? And look what happens. Look, salutation on the opposite side. Okay? So if you take it from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We land on this. Everybody weight in his torque, in his settlement. Let's try it. Start speaking simple. So you're looking at from here, we have this up, this down, this sweep. Oh look, we never did that motion before ever. As your plant bend, put this in. Okay, let's try another grab from behind, just to show you different meridians that we can work on. So you take it from that angle there. Okay, a few claws. Flip around green belt at the moment. So a few claws, okay, claws going into his long tube. But the gallbladder meridian that we've been working on starts here and goes 1, 2, 3 in a triangle. Okay, just like a small triangle over the forest. Okay, we know this meridian works down this jawline. So when we step back, we can just do this as a brush, not a straight, a brush. This would be one straight. So we have this 1, 2. Now, long as here, triple warmers here, that's what we get. No single. Remember that gallbladder point is the key. Sink some more. As we roll over the body, what's available? Gallbladder, transient stomach, and the other side. If it doesn't work, we have started onto the heart. So it's the same technique, just identifying something different in the sequence. Okay? So as you step back, we're going to take gallbladder 1, 2, 3, stomach 5, go, gallbladder step here. Play with that, see what we get.
Okay, sir. We are back live. That is our time. So I'm going to just take a minute and ask everybody to, let me unmute their mics, or ask everybody to unmute their mic, please. Okay. Outstanding work, guys. Give me a hand. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ward, sir. I really appreciate you taking the time to, I know you guys are so busy, taking the time to come on the program. So what I'd like to do, I haven't had a chance to look at the, I'd like to do is open up any questions you might have regarding what was presented, or just on American Kempo, pressure points, anything in general. So does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Yes, no, maybe. Any questions?
Mr. Harms has got one.
I got a question. Can you hear me through the mic?
Yes, go ahead, Ken.
Yep. Hi, Mr. Ward. Yeah, first of all, absolutely enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it. Always, you know, superb knowledge, and having the ability to train with people here as well that have had some experience already of what you've done and get hit, you know, with the techniques and the principles that you use. It's been an absolute pleasure. So, but as regards. Although you're doing what you're doing and you're doing it controlled, and there's the sensitivity to the strikes, sometimes we clip each other or you do get hit, and there are some points that are obviously getting hit and then being stimulated. Is there a flip side to what you do to when obviously you're stimulating certain meridian points and different points? Is there you know, almost like with that yin and yang, so to speak, is there a flip side of something you do to help to recenter the body if you've overstimulated any points, you know, at the end of a training session?
Normally at the end of it, like we designate, well, when we were allowed to train indoors, we actually sneak in here today. When we were allowed to train indoors in a class situation, we run a pressure point class, but at the end of the class, everybody would have to be resourced physically, okay, which is involving like resourcing the arms, resourcing the legs, the trunks to get the energy into the body, working on the body to, again, balance it off. And like everything else, it has a flip side. If you can hurt, you can heal. Some of the pressure points we use to get an effect,
Sure.
right? Or if we rub it, it has a healing effect.
Excellent. Thank you. Yep, that was it.
Thank you. Good question.
Cheers.
John, I have a question. This is actually rather personal because I deal with a lot of, I guess you could say, criminals, and a lot more often than not, they're under the influence of drugs. But because of my employer now, and depending on the situation, you know, we have to, you know, we are on the law forbids us to, you know, basically just knock somebody out, whether it's through a shot or whatever. We have to control the situation. So, but there are times that you know where that force is necessary. So, a quick question: if I have someone who is under the influence of drugs or narcotics, would you happen to have a top 3 pressure points that you would typically prefer to use if you had to control someone in that type of situation, or really put them down because of the fact that they're under the influence of drugs?
Because of the drug situation in the body, everything is going to be out of sync, okay? And it's like Mr. Hank said, whatever it takes, you know. Some points where you want to, like, ideally I would look at gallbladder points, stomach points that will make the body implode. You don't want to give them energy exploding because it only gives them more of a storage at you. They, like in a grab situation, okay, we hit the forearms, this is what happens. Okay? So we're going to take these points here. Okay, again, 3 fingers from the crease of the elbow down. You have a long and large intestine cross. You can hit that, you press it, rub it. But many times if you're going to punch in the technique where somebody's gone back and you've gone, oh, you know, this is that point. And basically, implode. And then walk whatever you have to do to get into any hole, you know, as a restraint. Again,
Thank you.
Again, that point on the ankle, that's swift tap. When that leg goes, it has no stability when it lands because it's got this false message that it's broken. Okay, so that's spleen 6 or spleen.
I see.
Anyway, spleen 11, once you tap it, the leg goes and it won't support. That's when you take advantage. It's like everything else. Set up, take over. Set up, take over. Yes, Nelson.
I just waiting for Joe if he can hear me. Can I make a question shortly? Because you did the you did the sweep, and I immediately back to the crossing talon version when you did the salutation.
Yeah.
So when you did the salutation, you use a technique that is a grabbing or locking, or actually with, like you did with pressure point, and you took that technique to a striking method like this salutation. Yeah. Question is, the reverse or the opposite of that, would you consider twisted rod as a technique that do the same, but in terms of not striking but grabbing and taking pressure points? I mean, twisted rod, the last technique of our program.
I forgot to go on. Okay, so If we're
Uh-huh.
going this,
Uh-huh.
okay. This is here. See this? This is resting. Like this, fancy. Okay, so if I find, and I'm not going to get this form, even by walking forward and sitting your opponent, just at the shoulder point here, where I reach the bicep, automatically start my elbow goes, and if I turn my hand this direction, okay? So boiling is going to the okay, again, the takedown is there. I don't have to walk through this way to get it. I can get it going the opposite way. Just by applying pressure on this point.
Clear. Thanks, sir. Clear.
Like, we've all been
Does
through the
anybody
one
else have any questions?
age now. Have to take it easy.
Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ward, sir? If not, what I'd like to do, if we don't have any more questions, I'm just checking the chat real quick to make sure.
Okay, guys, and hang around because there's some great tempo talent coming up next. Look at all that talent in one room. Makes you end. Well done, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do at this time, since there's no more questions, Mr. Ward, what I'd like to do is give you a few minutes just to kind of explain a little bit about yourself, your lineage, your journey in the martial arts, and also as an important reminder, just anything you'd like to add or say in regards to anybody that may be watching or watch in the future in terms of how, you know, what's the best way they can reach you, contact you if they have any questions or if they want to learn more. I'll turn it over to you at this time.
Okay, well, if anybody wants to make contact, they can make it for yourself. They can make it to any of the people on the screen. They all know me. I have a Facebook page for Johnny Ward, and I have a Facebook page for Ward Kempo Schools International. Okay, as you know, we're a member of Kempo International. We can be contacted through them. Okay, and anybody who wants to contact me, clearly with your instructor first. I don't want to be caught in the middle of anything political. I will answer. I will help you in any way I can, but I'm not going stepping on other people's toes. Okay. Let me see. Okay, I'm John Ward. I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm working on it.
Easy.
Mr. Ward, sir, how long for the viewers have you been training? When did you first start your journey in the martial arts, if you don't mind me asking?
Started training, I think it was March 1972. 49 years ago.
That's well over 6 months. Have you ever what styles have you trained in aside from American Kempo, or has it always been that?
I went to Wing Chun and I've touched on Aikido, but always American Kempo, American Kempo, American Kempo. The American Kempo I started in was what John McSweeney brought to Ireland, you know, and it's a lot of big circles, taught material out of sequence. And then I remember going to see a seminar here with Master John Sepulveda. He was a 5th degree at the time. And we all came up to the same way. We know what this, we were kept in the dark and fed shit. Mushroom Kempo, we call it here. But I saw what John Sepulveda was doing and I said, that's for me. Because if that's Kempo now, it's because Ireland lost contact with them. So they both John Sepulveda and this representative here, Mr. Ed Downey, were more than helpful to me. I can honestly say if it wasn't for those two people, I would have given up Kempo because there was nothing. That's it. It stopped there. There wasn't regular team for yourself or you're not ready for that. That's the secret stuff, you know. But we overcame that, and I got out and I met a whole lot of instructors from different Kempo schools and different Kempo associations. And in fairness, Miss Gillianzo, who was Miss Cogliando then, you know, she became my instructor, and it's kind of onwards and upwards. You know, these strikes in the belt don't mean anything. There's a man on that page, there's a couple of people in that room there. The weight class is huge to me. Andy Stevenson is more knowledgeable than I'll ever be, I'll be quite honest with you. I class him as my senior. You know, he had more contact with Mr. Parker than we could even hope to. I think I had maybe 4 seminars with Mr. Parker. You know?
Well,
Now, Julian's, like, they left a lasting impression, but imagine being able to drink from the source. You know,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to share with us and sharing your story. Like I said, I was over there years ago, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to meet you and get to know you. I do truly look forward to the day that we can all get back together and train again. You guys have done an amazing job over there with everything that you do, not just with the organizations, but with the seminars, the tournaments, everything. It's just really been amazing. So thank you so much for that. All this stuff passes by with a pandemic, and we can all just get together again in person. But until then, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. And thank you to your Ukes for coming out today as well. I appreciate it, guys. And if you guys ever want to come back on the program again, you're more than welcome to. Anytime. Give them a hand, guys.